they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove there's strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Oh yeah, y'all know the deal. Shout out to everybody. Welcome back. It was a long vacation. I do this for my father. I do this for you. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I know you could be anywhere else in the world, but you choose to spend some time with us on an evening like this. You know, when I do my show, I look forward to talking to you guys and answering questions. But tonight's pretty special. This is the start of the football season, you guys. College football season is upon us. We are starting. There's no looking back. It is they call it week 0, but we care about all these games, or at least I do. And as we get ready for these games, I get more and more excited because everything I've said all offseason is going to come true. I'm going to be batting well over 75%. And if you have a hit rate anywhere in 75, 80% range on your predictions, you're a damn GOAT. You are the greatest of all time because people can start gambling based on your predictions. People can start putting money where their mouth is. And when somebody tries to bet me anything, I want to remind them that I'm putting my reputation on the line with every prediction, with every sports take. And my channel and my reputation is worth way more than any amount of money you want to bet me. I promise you that. Okay, so that's a fact. One guy said, well, you're going to put $5,000 on it? Bro, my channel's worth more than that. Okay? So we just got to keep it real. Now, one guy said, your channel is turning into nothing more than a guy who comes online every day and says, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. And I want to ask you guys, What do you think the comments look like on my videos? All the comments are telling me how wrong I am. 90% of the comments are how terrible I am and how I don't know what I'm talking about. I got a kid. There's a kid out there. I think his name is Karen or something like that. I'm going to call him Karen. Dude's got stretch marks on his chin. Okay, if you want to know what type of eating habits this young man has, he has stretch marks on his chin. He's a senior in college. He's going through it, bruh. He's missed that whole part. You know the movies where they show you the guys with the girls in college? He's missing that whole experience. He does not have the college experience. And he's going into his senior year. He says, man, it's just flying by. Feels like yesterday I was in high school. No, that's not what your chin thinks. It's outrageous. Every time the man writes to me, I just write back and say diabetes. He goes, do you know what diabetes is? Yeah, bruh. Check your A1C. You're about to lose a foot. You guys don't understand. I'm excited to prove all the haters wrong. I'm here dominating every day. I'm in the paint. I'm in the trenches. Put your money where your mouth is, Rico. Where were you when I got everything right? Are you kidding me? I literally predicted a sprinter who's never gotten a medal in his life. I said, I think he's going to win a medal. And you guys, he's been running professionally for 9 years. Never had a medal. I said, I think he's getting one this year. I put it on writing. I put it on tape. I put it on video. And Aaron Brown wrote back to me and said, Rico, he's not getting a medal. You're wrong. Great Britain has never gotten a sprinting medal in the World Championships in 20 years. Yet here I am predicting they're going to get one this year. And they got the bronze medal. I was right. You're wrong, and I'm going to continue to be right. And I'm telling you guys, there are people out there who make predictions on things. For example, I did a review on all the draft picks, NFL draft picks. I did a review on every single one of them, 259 guys. And I had to give my assessment on how they fit on the team. And I got guys spamming me left and right how I got Nick Herbig wrong for the Steelers. I got Nick Herbig wrong. They're writing me comments. You owe him an apology. You missed. Ha ha, you're wrong. Bro, I could miss on 25 guys and still hit 90%. So you point out one guy you think I missed on. By the way, I said Nick Herbig was a great college player. I said I'm cheering for the guy. I'm rooting for him, and I want him to date my daughter. I said all these things. And if I didn't think he was going to be a starter, that's what I said. I don't think he's a starter. That's because I was complimenting the players on the Steelers. That's what I was doing. But heaven forbid I compliment the players on the Steelers. You know what? We're going to get into this. Everybody's so upset with me because I am celebrating, as they say, celebrating JSN's wrist injury. How dare you prey on a man's downfall? How dare you prey on this injury? You're a loser. No, bruh. I'm excited for the guys trying to make the roster. I'm excited for the wide receivers on the fringe of the roster, the 4th, 5th, and 6th best wide receivers on that roster. I want them to get in the rotation. I want them to get a fair chance to play. You're not going to get in the rotation when there's a first-round draft pick at your position, whether you're better than him or not. You don't believe me? Ask Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew outplayed Anthony Richardson every single day at practice. Outplayed him. And they didn't care. They gave the starting job to Anthony Richardson. Why? Because draft capital. Because the investment they have in that man. No, Rico, it's because of his upside. No. Don't get it twisted. It's because they have so much money invested in him, they must start him. They must play him. They did the same thing with Zeke and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard was clearly better. They kept playing Zeke. They're not going to play Gardner Minshew because they don't have any money in him. I'm letting you guys know now. They don't have any money in some of these receivers on the Seahawks. They're never going to get a shot. Well, now they can because this brittle dude, this dude is made of paper mache, bro. This dude is injured all the time. Somebody said to me, Rico, do you know Do you know what it is to tear a hamstring? Bro, I was a hurdler in high school, and I promise you, I had either a torn hamstring or a strained hamstring. I still went out there and ran my race. I still went out there and ran my race. I promise you, I felt this ripping sensation in my hamstring, but I had to go run because I was a scorer. I was the best 300-meter hurdler in my school's history at that point. I got to go out there and do my thing. I believe in putting team first. JSN isn't built from the same cloth, bruh. JSN will leave you stranded. He'll leave you hanging. And now he broke his wrist. This limp wrist wide receiver. Can you catch with a broken wrist? I just want to know. Can you? We're going to find out. JSN's injured. I'm excited because I predicted that he is not a good draft pick. I don't think you should have drafted him within the first 3 rounds. When I watched his tape, I was not impressed. He doesn't pop on tape. I didn't see him win any one-on-one matchups. I saw him against the third best corner on every single team, and the 300 yards he got in the bowl game were against the backup running back, Micah Bernard, playing corner that day. JSN's biggest game ever, that the last time he was on the field in a meaningful game was against Micah Bernard in the Rose Bowl, and Micah Bernard is the backup running back at Utah. They had no other corners that day. They said, you go play corner. And this man went out and put up 300 yards in the Rose Bowl, and nobody stopped talking about him since. He's a route artistry master. Steve Smith said he's the best ever. Rico, all this shit. I went and turned on the tape. I said, what are we talking about? A guy who's never gone up against the best corner on the other team? He's a slot receiver, and every time he stepped on the field, he had studs to his left and right. And then the one time he was the only guy on the field, they put a plumber out there to cover him. Micah Bernard, go look at the tape. Number 2. Number 2 for Utah. Go watch the tape. And while you're watching the tape, don't fast forward. Second quarter. Clark Phillips III runs him down from behind. Peanut punches the ball out. Shout out to Tillman. And they recover the ball in the end zone. Fumble. Because he's slow as molasses. JSN. Slow start to his season. He's no Tank Dell. Rico, you're just saying this for clicks. Nah, bro. I've been saying this for months. Now, an unfortunate injury here. Washington Huskies, one of the top teams in the country, they lose Cam Davis. Excuse me. Cam Davis was their freshman running back last year. He's going to his sophomore year. He scored 13 touchdowns last year. This is a big problem, only because I think he's explosive. I think he's a good player, and now he's done for the season. This sucks. If there's a position Washington could handle an injury for the whole season, it is running back. They do have like 3 transfers. So in the ESPN story, they don't know this. They talk about Dylan Johnson and Will Nixon. So if you don't know, Dylan Johnson is the transfer from Mississippi State coming over after 3 years over there. But Will Nixon is also a transfer. He's just came not this year, but the year before. Pause. Will Nixon transferred over from Nebraska. So he's a transfer, and they have Nada. I believe Nada coming over from Arizona State. Danielle Nada. Yeah, that guy. He's a hard-nosed runner. So they also have Richard Newton. They have players. It's not like they don't have a decent running back room. It's just you lose your leader. You lose the guy that's capable of doing it all. So Washington Huskies might not be as explosive as we were anticipating. They still have one of the best passing attacks in the country, Michael Penix Jr., 2 amazing wide receivers. Shout out to Rome, but it is what it is. Unfortunate for them. Now, this is that nonsense, y'all. This is that nonsense. College football must reconsider, a mid-realignment, SEC commissioner says. Let me tell you something. Greg Sankey, they're such elitists. They're so ridiculous that now they want to go out and they want to restructure the playoffs. Makes sense. If you didn't know, currently it says the top 6 ranked conference champions get auto bids. Sankey wants to get rid of auto bids because he feels like his conference can get more bids. And more bid, pause that. No, but what it really comes down to is with the Pac-12 no longer being as dominant as they were, their conference champ can't get an auto bid, especially if they expand back to 6 or 8 teams with the 4 remaining teams and they just grab a couple more. it's just not going to work for them. So what they're probably going to do is reduce the number of auto bids to 5 instead of 6, meaning you'll have 4 from the major conferences, ACC, Big 10, SEC, and Big 12, and then the top group of 5 team. So 5 of the 12 will be auto bids, and then you have 7 at-larges. And there won't be any limitation on who gets those at-larges. Now, the theory is you want the 12 best teams in the country in the playoffs. But what you're going to find is one of those teams will not be the 12 best. It will be a group of 5 conference champion who many people don't think is a 12th best team. Right now, the way it's written, there's potential for it to be 2 group of 5 conference champions. If you do the top 6 ranked conference champs, you're going to get 4 from the Power 4 teams, Power 4 conferences, and then 2 group of 5 champs. And they don't want that shit. They don't want to see a Sun Belt champ in there and an American champ. They just don't want to see it. So they're going to go back to the drawing board, change it before next season. That's fine. But the way Sankey goes about saying shit, he's so annoying. I'm reading it all, and I read it, and all I hear is smug. Smug. Shit like, we're adding Oklahoma and Texas. We're not going to have fewer teams involved in the postseason after the addition of those 2 historic programs. No, you're not going to have fewer teams because you only play 8 conference games. So you stack the deck. You ensure your teams have more wins than everybody else. That's what that is. We spend a lot of time in discussion, how to do this. Just remember, the last time we went in there, well, it was 65-7 last year. Georgia beating TCU, right? And the year before that, we had 2 teams in the national championship. Let me tell you guys something. Why doesn't he ever bring up how Georgia squeaked by Ohio State? Why doesn't he ever bring that up? You got to bring up the 65-7, but bring up the fact that you squeaked by in the semis. Therefore, anybody could be in the semis and still give you a good game. I'm just saying. We'll never know because they're advocates for what they are. And then he starts bringing up the Olympic sports and the travel. The propaganda, guys. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Hey, I like what we're doing over here. It makes me sick. Hey, on a more positive note, Curtis Rourke, Ohio Bobcats starting quarterback. He's back, y'all. Curtis Rourke is back, and he's healthy. He tore his ACL towards the end of last season. Ohio still won 10 games, but they needed him back to be relevant this year, and I'm extremely excited for the Week 0 game, San Diego State versus Ohio. It's going to be an upset if Ohio shows up and beats San Diego State, and I think that's going to happen. I really do. I'm pulling for Ohio to win this game. I just feel like they have an amazing running back. Say Bangura, most people don't know who he is. He's from DeMatha Catholic, the DMV area. Say Bangura is a tremendous running back. Go watch the film. I think he rushed for 1,000 yards or right under it, over 900 for sure. As a freshman, he's a grown man. I'm telling you guys. I hope you guys get it done, okay? I hope you guys watch him. This guy Rourke here, Curtis Rourke, 69% completion percentage. Seriously. This guy completes all his passes, gets it to everybody. And he's got a great little wide receiver, former Ohio State walk-on, Wiggles. His name is Wiggles. He's a white dude. Looks like he should be playing for the Patriots. I really like the trajectory of Ohio this season. I think they're going to be one of the favorites in the MAC. It's out of them and Toledo. But man, I'm so excited for this game. I think San Diego State's going to be down, by the way. Let me see. I don't care about any of this other stuff. 3 transfers to know. Look at the 3 transfers to know. It's only the big 3 that anybody would talk about. Shout out to ESPN for trying to talk about transfers and not having a damn clue what they're talking about. It's gross. It's disgusting. The shit they say. Impact freshman, Dante Moore. Okay, buddy. Genesis Smith. Where's Dylan Edwards? Where's Dylan Edwards when you need him? 3 must-see September games. USC, Colorado must-see, huh? Okay. This is outrageous shit. MVP. Wow. We had to really go out there. Hot seat. They're saying Wilcox is getting fired in the hot seat. Okay. I don't like anything about this. Anyways. Michigan self-imposing a 3-game ban. So, I broke it down in a video. I don't know if everybody saw it, so let me help you guys out. Michigan gives themselves a 3-game ban. Here's what happened. Jim Harbaugh got suspended for 4 games. That was an agreement between Jim Harbaugh and Michigan and the NCAA. But there's something called an infractions committee, and the infractions committee did not like the agreement. They wanted either more harsh or less strenuous. I'm guessing more harsh. So they rejected it. Now they're not going to give you the results back till next year. So in the meantime, Michigan decides they're going to punish themselves. They're going to do a self-imposed 3-game ban. It's in the title. My bad. It's in the headline. Self-imposed 3-game ban. It's just a way of telling the NCAA, hey, look, don't punish us. We already punished ourselves. This really worked well for Tennessee when they fired all the coaches after they got caught cheating. This worked well for LSU after they got caught paying players. So we'll see if it works for Michigan, but that's what they're doing. That's why Jim Harbaugh has the 3-game ban, just so everybody's clear on what's happening. Shout out to Juju Lewis. I know who he is. I'm in Georgia, so I watched Juju Lewis play all last season. He plays at Carrollton, leading Carrollton to their first state title game. They lost to Mill Creek. They lost 70-35 last year. But Juju Lewis, as a true freshman, as a freshman in high school, 4,100 yards, 48 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now, it's an unheard of stat line for a freshman, and he did it, and I watched it, and I'm impressed. But I don't ever, think he's that great when I watch him. I just think he's good. I like him. He's known goods, right? Very Bryce Young-esque. Very Bryce Young-esque. Just kind of cerebral about it, just getting it done, going out there doing his thing. Now, last week they did lose. They lost to Hughes, Langston Hughes. Hughes, one of the best teams in the country. Hughes isn't losing to anybody. They're a 6A team, so one division lower, but they're the state champs in 6A. They ran through everybody, beat Gainesville last year. And last year they had Jelani Thurman. They obviously have Aaron Noland. They have 20 guys going D1. Hughes is loaded every single year. And Hughes went out and beat Carrollton last week at the buzzer. As time expired, they made a stop. And you can say Juju Lewis made the right play, but he went 20 for 30 last week, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So it's obvious his touchdown to interception ratio is probably not going to be as good as it was last season. He's already at only 1-1 compared to the 48-3 he did as a freshman. Don't get it twisted. He's still a very good player, and obviously USC really wanted him. Now, he can change his mind. He can flip. He can do other things. So I don't get too excited about recruits like this. What's interesting about this is obviously going from Georgia, where the national champs are back-to-back years, and going all the way to the other side of the country. That's pretty remarkable. So that sticks out to me. Raiola did it this year, going from Arizona all the way to Georgia, but the inverse is happening now. And it's just another case of Georgia missing on some of the top recruits in the state. For the last 2 years, I've watched Alabama and Clemson clean up in the state while Georgia keeps going national with their recruiting, signing running backs from California, tight ends from California, players from Texas. Georgia's going everywhere but Georgia. And Clemson, Alabama, and now apparently USC are cleaning up in-state. So it's pretty awesome. Good for them. And shout out to Georgia for skipping out on some guys, or at least losing on certain players. I don't care about the All-American team. They got the first team here, Caleb Williams, Blake Corum, and Judkins. It's just whoever's on a mock draft. That's who's on the All-American team. Whoever's on a mock draft, they don't even care. They just pick dudes on the mock draft. I promise you. Are you kidding me? Travis Hunter's up here. First team All-American. The guy's coming over from FCS. There are guys who did worlds more than Travis Hunter. I love Travis Hunter. He doesn't belong up there on the All-American list. He does not. Preseason All-American? No. Not a chance. Well, I'm looking at people with real production. He was injured last season. This is all hype. This is all 5-star shit. That's what all these guys are. All these guys are just draft pick 5-star dudes. There are other players that you could have picked for all-purpose player. There are a ton. With more production. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy. Look at the names. Look at the people they're picking. They're actual players that did a lot of great things. It's not hype. This is crazy. Second string. Back-to-back 1,200-yard rushers. Like, it's real shit. And then you get there and you're like, who's the all-purpose player? The all-purpose player on second team is Will Shipley. This guy's rushed for over 1,000 yards 2 years in a row. Like, you got to be kidding me, bro. You got to be kidding me. Outrageous. I'm not even mad. I love Travis Hunter. Watched him play in high school at Collins Hills. I'm a big Travis Hunter guy. Not All-American. Don't do it. Hasn't earned it. You got to earn it. And speaking of not earning it, unfortunately, Hakeem Butler got cut, y'all. If you don't know, Hakeem Butler led the XFL. I'm sorry, I almost said USFL. He led the XFL in receiving this past season. Receiving yards. I don't know if he did touchdowns, but he was dynamite. He was doing everything, and everybody looked at him and said, man, that guy's an NFL wide receiver. Well, he just got cut. That sucks. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. World Championships are going on, and a lot of shit just popped off in the last, 30 minutes or so, and I do want to talk about it, but this one kind of bugs me. Amusan, this girl right here from Nigeria, she didn't piss hot, but she avoided 3 tests within 12 months. She's doing drugs, she's cheating, and she's skipping tests. So she got a provisional ban. They got the ban lifted. They're thinking about whether or not they're going to dispute it and get it back and do all these other appeals. The reality is this. She skips tests on purpose, came up with some bullshit reasons why she skipped them, so they're letting her run. But she shouldn't be running against anybody. And I'm glad she didn't run fast. She ran a 12:48. All right, third fastest of the night, 12:48. I hope she loses to Kenny Harrison. Kenny went out there and ran a 12:24. Let's go. I hope she wins, though, and I hope they take away her medals. I hope she feels that pain. But we don't want to win a gold in the mail, right? We want to win it on the podium and hear the national anthem. This is bullshit. It is what it is. We ain't got time for these cheaters. And that's, Nigeria's just known for this, guys. She also went to UTEP. I call UTEP, I did a whole video on this. You guys didn't see it. UTEP, I call them U-Take. U-Take. And I call Texas Tech, Texas Take. Because both these schools are straight up drugging themselves. They're both cheating immensely. They have a coach that gets them all the drugs. I got an insider on this. I got a source. It's all in my comments. It's all in my DMs. I kid you not. And even when I posted the video, nobody really watched it. But somebody in the comments, he's a runner at Texas Tech, said, no joke. That's what he wrote, no joke. Meaning, yeah, we know. All these guys are drugging and cheating. To get to the highest level, they're cheating. And it's sad. She got booed, but that's not enough for me. I don't want to just boo these cheaters. I want their names to be known, and they're out of here. Shout out to Stephen Gardner, the 400-meter champ from the Bahamas, the returning state champ or world champ. He didn't get out the semifinals. He fell. How do you fall in the 400 meters? I don't know, but he managed to do it, so shout out to him. Javon Harrison, LSU's finest. Yeah, he got silver in the high jump. That's awesome. We don't usually medal in the high jump, but he did. And we had a surprise winner in the discus. So we won the discus first and second place. And this girl, Laluga Collins, whatever her name, I can't say her name, bro. I don't mean to be rude. I just can't pronounce it. She's got a Samoan name, and she yells and screams all the time. Dalilah Muhammad, she choked. Dalilah Muhammad said she's been injured. She didn't make the finals in the 400 hurdles. This is the former world champion, former world record holder until Cindy McLaughlin broke her records, but Muhammad was supposed to get us a gold. It didn't happen. So it's going to be a rough one. We're not doing well. We'll get around to it. We're almost there, guys. I'm almost done. I'll get to your questions here. Usually get there by 5:30. Give me 30 minutes. But here we go. Sugar Sean O'Malley winning the belt, beating Aljamain Sterling. I just want to say I told you guys the Sugar Show was going to win every single time. Anybody asked me, I said, Sugar. Give me Sugar. Give me Sugar. Oh, Rico, he can't wrestle. He doesn't have takedown defense. Yeah, he does. And he's got them hands. He put this boy down. So, shout out to Sugar Sean O'Malley. I don't know who you fight next. Maybe Marab, but it's fine. You won. Go get your money. Go get your endorsements. Keep being great. Let's go. Speaking of not being great, the complete opposite of being great, an arrest warrant for this bozo, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown has not paid $15,000 in child support. Remember, there was an arrest warrant back in April where he didn't pay 30 grand. Okay? 30 grand, 15 grand, yes, it's pretty steep. But I know this, in Florida, your child support is based off your income, and there's a calculator. They don't just make up the number. The judge doesn't just go out and pick some arbitrary number. There's an actual chart. I've been paying child support to the state of Florida, or at least my baby mama who lives in Florida, for the better part of a decade now. I've never missed a payment. All you got to do, set up an allotment, set up an auto payment, and your kids get paid first, bruh. Your kids come first. He's got a daughter with this woman. Now, he's domestically abused this woman. He's assaulted her. He's been arrested for it. They dropped the charges, but it happened. And he doesn't know how to treat this woman. He doesn't know how to treat any women, as far as I'm concerned. He's been accused of sexual assault as well. He's been accused of many infractions. He's disrespectful to Tom Brady and his ex-wife. He's the worst. He's the worst kind of person, man. And you guys give him a pass because he was good at football, because he was once fast. I can't deal with people who were once athletic and worth something to society because of their athleticism and are now the decay of society and a bane on our existence. Who's going to feed your kid if you don't feed it, bruh? I need to know. Because I don't love all children. I love my children. So who's feeding your kids? Just letting you know. Antonio Brown. If you see him, call the cops. If you see him, call the cops. All right, that's all I have for what's trending today. Let's get to you guys' questions, and we'll rock from there. Thank you guys for being here. If you ask the question, be patient. Don't ever ask it twice, and I will get to it. Shout out to everybody who's here in chat. Combined, we're rocking over 130 people. I do appreciate it. Our numbers are going up. Make sure we hit the like button. If you're in the show right now and you're in YouTube, all you have to do, exit the chat, go hit the like button, come back. We ask that you do that. It really helps with the algorithm, and it'll get the show out to more people so we can enjoy this. But thank you guys for being here. Now, T says, Rico knows the truth in the booth. Thank you very much. Hey, you guys want to see me in the booth. I'm a real freestyle rapper. That's real. I be rapping all the time. Ask him. Oh, by the way, I'm back from a vacation. Kim Jones and I, we went on vacation for about 4 or 5 days. I don't remember how many days it was. Just so I can recap it, we started off at Busch Gardens. We went to Busch Gardens in Virginia. I love roller coasters, but we had those fast passes, and we didn't have any brakes, bruh. We had no brakes. So my brain was being rattled every which way. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to tap out pretty early. I'd say we probably got on 4 or 5 roller coasters, and I looked at her and said, I can't do this anymore. I got a headache. And I'm a pretty big guy. Like I'm very, very, I'm yoked, bruh. I'm not some little dude walking around scrawny like it's no big deal. Like, we'd get off the roller coasters, and all these kids would go running to the next stairs and the next ride, and I'd be looking around going, why the hell are we running, bro? I'm a physical force. I can't be running like this. I'm gonna walk. I'm chilling. So it sucked. It sucked for me to realize my limitations, but it was a good time. Get to sit next to a pretty girl on a roller coaster and not scream, bro, because I don't scream. I'm a grown man. I don't scream. After that, we went to D.C., went and saw all the monuments, had a blast. Saw all the monuments, went to go see the Hope Diamond, did the museums. If you don't know, when you go to Washington, D.C., there's a museum off the beaten path a little bit. You need to go to it. It's the National Archives. Don't just do the Smithsonian's and, all the other stuff. Go to the National Archives. That's actually where everything's held. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the Magna Carta, the Emancipation Proclamation. Just everything you want to see is at the National Archives building. It's free. You walk in and you do your thing. It's not on the same National Mall side. Go find it. We went and did that. We spent the night there. Next morning, went and saw the White House. Chilled. We didn't egg it. We just went and watched it. And then we walked back. We saw the Education Building, the Department of Commerce, Department of Justice, the FBI. We saw all the main buildings. These buildings are blocks long. And eventually we saw the Capitol. And then we jumped in the car and we went up to New York. And we got to New York City, stayed in Times Square, had a blast, went up on top of the Empire State Building. That was an amazing vacation. And the next day we went and hit up Long Island. We went to go see a musical. Went and saw Grease. I know what you kids are thinking. Bro, he didn't hit the club. He didn't go dancing, bro. We went to Hard Rock Cafe and bought matching T-shirts. That's what we did. But we did try out some food. Had to try some empanadas straight off the street. Real talk. And just had a good time. After that, we went back to Baltimore. After a couple days in New York, we went to Baltimore and we hit up a casino for a day, played some poker, just kind of hung out, and I went to, I think, Arundel Mills Mall, and then I finally made it home. So we're here. All right. Third vacation of the summer, last vacation until the fall or until the winter. Probably around Christmas time, might fly to California to go visit some family, but right now we're locked in. Football every day. Ready, set, go. All right. Welcome in, folks. Loaded day. 4 days to college football. 4 days, y'all. Like, sub, and hit up. There you go. Hey, yeah, go to ricoknows.org. That's where we have all the merch. Thank you, guys. Save your time on the Swamp Kings on Netflix. I invested the time, and it is essentially one of those CDs that Sports Illustrated hands out to championship team fans. Hey, Steve. So I didn't watch it yet. It's on my queue. You guys didn't know on Netflix Swamp Kings came out. It's supposed to show us all the grit and grime and all this. But apparently it's a celebration of the Swamp Kings, of the Gators. I want to tell you, one of my favorite VHSs growing up, 1992, after the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, 52-13 or whatever it was over the Bills, we got a VHS tape in the mail from Sports Illustrated. This VHS tape came in the mail, and we started watching this tape, and we memorized all of it. And this is the first time, you heard Jimmy Johnson yell out, "How about them Cowboys?" Right? All that shit. And the end song on the VHS was the number one song from 1992, which was Toby Keith's first hit, and it was "Should Have Been a Cowboy." It's the first country song my brother and I had ever heard, and we memorized the hell out of it. I think we might have heard a Randy Travis song before that, but we grew up on gangster rap and hip hop and R&B and old school music. We were like, what is this shit? But it was still popping because we were Cowboys fans at that time. So shout out to you for saying it's like one of those discs that everybody gets from their championship team. That's pretty cool. At the same time, if you want to learn about Florida and watch it, go. They didn't dig deep enough. Shame on them. Shame on them. Thoughts on Missouri? Jacob Jenkins says, thoughts on Missouri, and are they going to get better or worse in the upcoming seasons? So, Jacob Jenkins, the recruiting looks great. The problem is Drinkowitz, I don't know if he gets enough time to cook. I can tell you guys this. You all think Brady Cook wasn't any good. But I have a video that I saved that I'm going to reference and come back to. And that video is me telling you guys Brady Cook is a hell of a quarterback. And everybody attacked me when I said it. I said he is him. Brady Cook is the guy. And if you need further proof, they came out this week and said, we're going into week one with two quarterbacks. Brady Cook and Sam Horn. And it's like, you guys got to understand. You brought in Jake Garcia from Miami. You've had Sam Horn. And Brady Cook's there. And nobody's happy with Brady Cook. But for some reason, he's still in the quarterback battle. He's still relevant. And it's because he's your best option. It's not saying much, but he's good. And he's actually a dual threat option. Did you know Brady Cook is one of two people to rush for over 100 yards against Georgia last season? Yeah. Or no. Not Georgia. Tennessee. One of the two. Georgia or Tennessee. Georgia or Tennessee. Which one was it? Might have been both. Brady Cook's a dual threat, bro. I like him. Morant's Rants, my twin brother, by the way. Morant's Rants says, pin my message. JT Daniels, #1 draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys next year. Okay. That message will not be pinned. He is a Cowboys fan, by the way, guys. JT Daniels will not be drafted. His release is terrible. His processing is worse. And he's injury prone. And just like JSN, injury-prone players should not be drafted. Ezekiel De Jesus says, thoughts on Penn State's transfer pickups in the portal? Ezekiel De Jesus, is it because you guys are talking about Dante Cephas? Like, why do we talk about Penn State's transfer portal? What's so good about it? What's so good about it? Collins, 2022 recruit. He's strictly depth. Leaving Mississippi State mainly because they lost Mike Leach. He's from Georgia. I know the young man. I watched him play a ton in high school. He's strictly depth. He's not in the too deep. Alonzo Ford coming over from Old Dominion. Shout out to him. You leave Old Dominion, You're the big guy in the middle. He's a defensive tackle. He's actually bigger than 6'2", 285. He's like 300 pounds. Trey Potts coming over to be the third-string running back. This was the backup running back at Minnesota last year. Nothing to write home about. Malik McClain. Everybody thought he's going to be a great receiver at Florida State. Didn't work out. 6'4", 200 pounds. You think he's that big target everybody's looking for. And he went to IMG. But it's just a 4-star kid who didn't pan out. And he's going to Penn State. Dante Cephas, the second-best receiver at Kent State last year. Why do we keep talking about him like he's the second coming of somebody great? The second-best receiver on a group of 5 team. Devontae Walker was the number 1 guy at Kent State. Cephas was number 2. And number 3 was Polk, kickoff returner, punt returner as well. He's at West Virginia. Dante Cephas isn't great. You guys keep talking about it. He's not great. And then Riley Thompson and Alex Felkins. Starting kicker and punter. Congrats, you're here. You made it. That's Penn State's transfer portal class. Very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. How many left? How many guys did they drop in the portal that they didn't want anymore? Keziah Holmes never panned out, so he was actually gone before the season started. He's been in the portal for the whole time. Christian Veliu, this damn Canadian, he's at Pitt, battling it out with Jerkovich. Right? These guys didn't pan out. McGraw's never really contributed. Tally's a young kid who left, went back to, go play for that dude. Mel Tucker, by the way. I'm just messing with you guys. But I don't see anybody. Jamar Budden didn't pan out as a recruit. It's just a lot of misses. But these guys leaving, you lose Kevon Lee, that's a huge lose. That's a huge loss. It really is. Continuity, Kevon Lee once was decent at running. But the reason you guys don't care about these losses, Kevon Lee and Devin Ford. Oh, we got 2 great running backs, Rico. We got 2 great running backs. And then why are we talking about your transfers? Because one of the better players you got was Trey Potts. Outside of that, nobody else. It's nuts. It's nuts. There's a reason they weren't ranked very high in my transfer portal rankings. Just so you know. Thoughts on Iowa? Hayden, I wish I could pronounce your last name. Alex Surgic. Iowa. My thoughts are they're one of the better teams that are vying for the 4th or 5th best team, right? So when you look at the Big Ten, the big 3 are at the top, and in any order you want on any given season. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Don't even debate it. They're up there. Then the next team, the 4th best team in the Big Ten, very debatable. Very debatable. I got Maryland, Minnesota, right? Oh, my goodness. What am I saying? Wisconsin's going 11-1 this year. Wisconsin's going 11-1. So you still got Maryland, Minnesota. They're fighting for the 5th best spot in the conference. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Purdue. They're all fighting for the 5th best team. That's where Iowa's at. They're not head and shoulders above any of those teams. You hear about Caleb Farley news. Shit is sad. He's been going through so much. Yeah, Dominique, I usually don't talk about like deaths for clicks, so I avoid it. So, yes, unfortunately, I heard he had an explosion at his home and his father passed away. It happens. People die. Peeps got to know I'm Morant's nose. Morant's rants, it doesn't roll off the tongue. Morant's nose does not roll off the tongue. It's not even believable. Shout out to you. Thoughts on Michigan State's defensive line? Chris Kadianis. Did you ask me about Michigan State's linebackers last week? Was that you? Before I went on vacation, somebody asked me about Michigan State's linebackers. Was that you? It's a little specific. Tell me about their defensive line now. Who cares about Michigan State's defensive line? I just want to know who does. So they have some players. But for me, they have about 4 guys that are decent and rotationable type dudes, right? I think the kid named Boggle. Is it Boggle? The transfer going into his senior year. I think he's a good player. Obviously, Sammy, the transfer from Colorado, following Mel Tucker, and he's a big body, so Jalen Sammy coming over. I believe in that kid. Then there's Harmon and Barrow. They're the only other 2 that I can think of that are worth noting. And it's hard for me to memorize every depth chart and every position group on every team in America. So the fact that I can go 4 deep on you at, and pause, 4 deep at defensive line at Michigan State. I think that's good enough. I think they're all pretty decent players. They're all rotational. Nobody sticks out to me. Their linebackers stuck out to me, right? They have some players at linebacker that are much better. Like Windman. Windman's must-see TV, right? Must-see TV. I'm all about Windman. But some of these other guys you guys are asking about, I'm looking at your guys' questions, and I'm like, what are we doing? Cal Halladay. Let's go with Cal Halladay as the best defender on Michigan State. Hands down. Let's go with that. Is Gonzalez going to be the best rookie corner? Devin Allman asked, is Gonzalez going to be the best rookie corner? Well, if he is, then I'm wrong because I did not put him the best rookie corner. I did not have him in my top 2. He was my 3rd best corner. I had him behind Forbes. I had my corners in the same order that the NFL drafted them. Because me and NFL scouts and NFL GMs, we're kind of all on the same page. Shout out to the Patriots, though. They do really well with who they select and how they develop and how they coach and schemes and the positions they put them in, situations they put them in. So I think Gonzalez can play great. Is he going to be the best rookie corner? I don't have a fucking clue. I don't like to guess at stuff like that. That's not the type of prediction I'm making. What's your actual record prediction for Alabama? Evan Kramer. So if you guys don't know what Evan Kramer's talking about, if you're just on YouTube only, shout out to the 133 people that are in here, 140 people that are in here. If you're only a YouTube guy and you don't know what he's talking about, on TikTok, I made a video yesterday predicting Alabama would go 7-5. Now, everybody lost their mind on it. Alabama fans are fragile. Here's the reality of the situation. If you weren't paying attention, and I don't think they were, I picked Alabama to lose every single home game. Is that going to happen? No. I called Alabama the Alabama Elephants. No one said a thing. They all saw red. They all got mad. I got tagged in so many videos. Do I think Alabama's good? Yeah, they're a good team. I think they struggle next season. I could see them losing a significant number of games for them. The thing is people are so irate and so upset that I said they're losing 5 games. I'm rocking with it. I'm sticking with it. Now, are they really losing 5 games? Are they really losing all their home games? No, they're not losing all their home games. But the fans are irate. They're upset. I'm never going to retract a damn thing. I'm good, and they'll be okay. I can't wait till Alabama wins 9 games, and they come at me, and they say, we told you we'd win 9, and they try to celebrate a 9-win season and try not to be disappointed. I can't wait for that. That'll be an incredible day when Alabama comes at me with their 9-win season and starts celebrating. It'll be hilarious. And I'll come back to this video and say I was right. I was right. You weren't right. You don't know what you're talking about. You weren't right. Can we get a review? Can we get a Lamar Brown review? He's a lineman from University High, LSU's campus high school. Think he ranks 3rd overall in 24/7 in 2026. So Nick Weibel, if you want a review on any film, you have to send me a DM. Get in line. There's about 500 people in front of you. And sit tight and be patient and wait. I don't do reviews based upon chat requests or comment requests. It's all DMs. And you send me a DM, send me the link, and I'll get to it eventually. I don't have any favoritism. I don't cut anyone to the front. And I also don't really care what their rank is on 24/7 or on 3. I just do the requests as they come in. So, first come, first serve. Where's Willie Bobo? I don't know. He's probably doing the Willie. All right. So, Haynes King won the quarterback battle at Georgia Tech. What'd I tell you guys? I called this 100 times over. I didn't even know there was a battle. Here's how it works. Haynes King transferring from Texas A&M, going to Georgia Tech. Quarterback coach is Chris Winkie. New head coach Brent Key. Here's why I believe in Haynes King. Haynes King was at Texas A&M for 2 seasons. And in 2 seasons with a loaded quarterback room, we're talking Eli Stowers, Max Johnson, Connor Wegman, all these guys. Doesn't matter who's there. He beats everyone out. When there's a competition, kind of like with Sean Clifford, when there's a competition to see who's the starting quarterback, Haynes King will win the competition. That tells me he practices well. That tells me he's great at preparation. And when push comes to shove, he's the starter. Now, does he play well enough to hold the position? No, he didn't. But you know what? At A&M, in 2021, he won the quarterback battle and was named the starter on opening day. And then he went out there and didn't play great. 2022 comes. It's off season again. New quarterbacks come in. Doesn't care. Beats them all. And he's the starter again for the second year in a row. He's really good. He's really good at competing. And I like quarterbacks who can compete and win. Shout out to Will Levis for never doing that. Shout out to Eric Milton for never doing that. There's people out there who don't win their quarterback battles. And he's one of them. Let me take that back. He's not one of them. So I'm excited for him. How bad is Washington going to miss Cam Davis this season, out for the season, if you didn't already know? I already talked about Evan, and I think they're going to miss him, but they're okay. It sucks. Holding a spot for Willie Bobo. Rico, my G, what's new with Colorado? So what's new with Colorado is Chance Main hit the transfer portal last night, or 2 days ago, and he committed to Texas State. And I don't think anybody saw this coming. At least none of his teammates. No one. Let me tell you something. Colorado players, I probably have 20 in my DMs. Colorado coaches, I have a handful in my DMs. I can communicate with these people every day of the week, 24/7, if I want to. If I want to know something about the program, all I have to do is reach out. Nobody wrote to me and said, hey, Reek, we're losing Chance Main. Nobody said a word. Now, I believe Chance Main is a great player. He's a great contributor, was going to add a ton of depth. He's not a starter. He's not a blue chip guy. He's not any of that stuff. He was just going to be nice depth, but I know he wants to play defensive end instead of defensive tackle. He's not big enough for DT, and I don't think he wants to gain that much weight. But what people need to understand is he's going to UIW, and there is no connection there with the coaching staff, but there is with the players. So when you look at UIW, the strength and conditioning coach was at UIW, and now he's at Texas State. And UIW, University of Incarnate Word. Okay, this is a Texas school that Chance Main went to when he was at Independence on Last Chance U. He committed to UIW, and he was there for a year or two, I think, before he transferred to Colorado. So going back and you look at Texas State, the amount of players they got from UIW is like 15. So they got all these transfers from UIW. It makes sense for Chance Main to want to go join a bunch of his old teammates at a school that, maybe he'll get more playing time and get in the rotation, most definitely. So more power to him. But that's what's new with Colorado. Russ, enough is straight fire. Hey, shout out to you. LGZ7 is my homie from the jump, from day one. Hey, Marlo Stanfield says, Chance Main leaving Colorado for Texas State, is that a downgrade in program or about the same? So it's definitely a downgrade in program. Let's be clear. One's a Power 5 school. One's a Group of 5 school. Talent-wise, it's also a downgrade. Texas State is not a perennial power in the Group of 5. They're struggling to bounce back. I think they're on the right track. I love the trajectory. I love some of their players. I love what they're doing. Shout out to G.J. Kinney and everything they're doing. But Texas State is not Colorado. Let's not confuse the two. And the Sun Belt is not the Big 12, right? Let's win. Let's take back Texas. Let's win it all. Let's do all that stuff. Shout out to Texas State. I rock with the Bobcats all day, but they're not Colorado. So it is a downgrade. It's not the same. I know there are more than 3 of y'all in here. Hit that like button. Thank you very much for the 40 likes. Let's keep it going. Rico, what do you think about J.J. McCarthy? Pierre J., I don't think about J.J. McCarthy. If you ask me what do I think about him, I don't. Okay? I see him in first-round mock drafts. I laugh. I don't even read mock drafts. People just keep tagging me in the shit. I don't think he's a great playmaker, but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. They have an incredible offensive line, great running backs, and a good defense. So J.J. McCarthy, go out there and do your best to emulate the old Alabama quarterbacks from the 2011. Do the Jake Coker thing. Yo, Rico, what's good, my guy? Corey Flores, what's up, man? Corey Flores is always sending positive vibes, so I appreciate him. Thank you very much. Shout out to the 150 people watching us now. We're at 156. Let's keep it going. Hopefully we can get to 200. Hit the like button if you're watching the show on TikTok. Get more people in here. Hit the like button and the thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Let's keep it going. The chin. Hey, that dude had stretch marks on his chin, yo. I'm just keeping it real. We've never seen his whole body. All his videos are just, a portion of his face. He's like, it's just a portion of his face. It's disgusting. I don't want to see his dating profile. I bet he's got a profile pic 90% of his face. The whole thing's like this. I'm a good guy. Why can't I find any nice women? Why can't the good guys finish first? He's one of those guys. Rico coming for heads. Pause. Or chins. On him. I'm getting concerned about this OSU quarterback battle. Don't be. It's just all propaganda bull. They already know who the winner is. Shout out to Devin Brown. I also made a video with one intentional error saying McCord was winning the quarterback battle. All the Ohio State fans are irate that I don't know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't matter. They'll play Brown one season and Lincoln Kindholes will take over with Aaron Nolan. Rico usually knows, but to say Bama will lose 5 games is just wild. Tony Thompson, I can say whatever I want, man. My credibility's not shot. You know how wild it is to say a guy's going to win an individual medal in the 100 meters when it's never been done in his lifetime and it hasn't been done in the last 20 years for Great Britain, and I still hit? Nobody says anything. I got my prediction right, and no one said a damn thing. It's crazy. But the minute I say something that they think won't happen, now I don't know what I'm talking about. Now I'm the dumbest person on this app. I can't be talking sports. You're fat. You never played sports in your life. It's like, dude, are you serious right now? All these guys. Hey, you know what we used to do when I was in high school? We used to let the pretty cheerleaders wear our jerseys on game day. You pick your girlfriend. She got to wear the away jersey. You wore the home jersey. Something like that. Or I used to have to wear a tie. A lot of these dudes would have gave anything to hold my pocket and wear my jersey, bro. Real talk. They'd come to the games with posters made. I know, Rico. That's how they would have lived their life. Rico was going for the neck and the chin. Hey, the chin was in the way, bro. I just know where the jugular is. Hey, Rico, I missed that first part of the live. Have you answered the Mizzou question yet? I believe I did. Hope you didn't miss it. If you did, hit rewind. Also, have you seen the Florida documentary yet? Urban set the tone. I can tell you from personal experience, Saban was 100 times more intense and psychotic. Al Green. That's cool, man. Urban Meyer is fingering women in a bar while being married and kicking other grown men, telling them to make kicks. I don't like Urban Meyer. I don't like him. I'm not a huge Nick Saban fan, but I really don't like Urban Meyer. His morals are all out of whack. I had Tanner McKee. Hey, this guy Frenzy says, I had Tanner McKee and Jake Haener in my top 6 quarterbacks. Got hella shit like you did. We're looking good so far. Okay, Frenzy. Let me help you out there, Frenzy. You don't get to take credit for my takes, bro. I'm gatekeeping my takes. Nobody had the same quarterback list as me. Nobody believed in Tanner McKee, Aiden O'Connell, Jake Haener. Nope. Don't want to hear it. There's not a guy that wrote to me in comments. Where was this comment 7-8 months ago? Frenzy, where were you 7-8 months ago when I was putting my reputation on the line and telling you guys who the real NFL quarterbacks were in this draft class? Where was that comment? Now I see that comment when it's safe to say it. When you get to take credit. Hey, Rico, can we finish this finish line? Rico, can I share the podium with you? Hey, Rico, I agree with you, Rico. I was saying it. I've been telling everybody Tank Dell's better than JSN. I can't believe they tried to question us. I can't believe they didn't believe us. Nah. I'm alone. I'm alone in this tunnel, bruh. You ever been in a cave with a flashlight? You ever been in a cave with a flashlight and there's no walls for it to reflect off of and it just keeps going? You can't see shit unless it hits something. That's been me the whole time, knowing where I was at. You guys ain't it, bro. Herbig is a stud. He'll be great depth for a couple of years. We just got 2-star edge rushers already. Yes, we do. I think he plays for the Steelers. EMT plays for the Steelers. Shout out to him. Nick Herbig was an awesome backup in my opinion. Is an awesome backup in my opinion. There we go, Corey Flores. Jacob Jenkins, you can always rewatch. Exactly. But he has not gotten to questions yet. Spoiler alert, you might not like his answer. Shout out to Steve. Steve has got a great point. You guys ask me questions. Sometimes the answers aren't what you want. Hey, bro, what happened to Brennan Gant for Colorado? So I don't know. I was told he was having an eligibility concern or issue. I don't know any other details. He did reach out to me in a DM, but we didn't discuss his eligibility. I don't like to bring up shit that kids are going through at that moment. So I just said, hey, thanks for support on the channel. He wrote back, hey, thanks for making a video on me, because I did make a video about him. But I can ask around. I'll look into it. If I find any details, don't ask in here again. I'll just make a video on it. JSN is fragile. Don't drop. He's fragile as hell. And people need to stop talking about that Rose Bowl. He got ran down by a slow corner. Now, no, he didn't get run down by a slow corner. He got ran down by a 4-4 corner, which is fast. And his big plays were all given up by a guy who hit the portal and is group of 5 now. No, Robert Lopez, it's worse. All his big plays were on Micah Bernard, who did hit the portal but came back to school. He's not group of 5 now. So let's be very clear on this. All his big plays were on Micah Bernard, the backup running back who played corner that day. Just so we're clear. Welcome back from the vacation. Thank you very much, Jacob Jenkins. Also go to search Rico Knows Missouri in search bar on TikTok, and it will show you all music videos. Okay, here's what Steve's talking about. If you want to know about a team, or you want to know what I've done about your favorite team, it doesn't matter what the team is. You go to TikTok, and you go to the search bar. Hashtag Rico Knows, all one word, space, hashtag putting your favorite team name. Don't care what it is. You can do hashtag TCU, hashtag Mississippi, hashtag Texas, hashtag whoever, bro. You will see everything I've ever talked about them. You could even do like hashtag HBCU, hashtag FCS. But if you do, you got to put 2 hashtags in your search. One hashtag is Rico Knows, all one word, and then hashtag whatever you want. So what Steve is telling you to do there, Jacob Jenkins, is go to TikTok and search hashtag Missouri, hashtag Rico Knows, and you'll see every single video I've ever made on Missouri or their players or their transfer portal additions or their departures or their depth chart or their injuries or their coaches. That's how I sort all of my content. I sort it with the hashtags, guys. So later on, when you're searching for it, you just do a search. Hashtag your favorite team name and then hashtag Rico Knows. And you will find every single video I've made about your particular team. Spoiler alert, I've made a video about every single FBS level team, at least one, probably 2 to 20. Yeah, at least 2 on every team, just so we're clear. Thanks, man, and I know they suck, just wanted to hear this take. No, they don't suck. Missouri does not suck. They have a great defense. They have some good players. They're doing well in recruiting. They just aren't good enough to win. They don't suck. They're just not good enough to win. Huge difference, right? Make sure you go search TikTok. There it is. He's got it. Not the plumber. The plumber, bro. Pause was necessary. Thank you very much. Did Chance Main leave Colorado on Monday for Texas State? Yep, Robert Lopez. I made a video about it on YouTube and TikTok. Watch them both. They're the same video. Sam Howell will be a top 10 quarterback by the end of the season. Commander Nation knows. So, David Parker, be careful. Let me tell you guys a real, true stat. Somebody was talking about this earlier today on TikTok on one of my comments, and they said, hey, Rico, can you talk about the 24-game win streak that was snapped by the Ravens for their preseason win streak? I said, yeah, man, but there's a better streak out there. Let me tell you guys this. There's a streak out there of the Eagles have never lost to the Jets in the regular season. I don't know if you guys ever knew this. The Eagles are 12-0 against the Jets all time. And what's crazy is from 1989. Now, I went back to 89. Look, man, I'll show you the chart right here. I did it right here by hand. I went back. Jets, Eagles, 89. I was writing all these numbers. I'm doing all this data. I got the final scores to each game. Guys, I'm studying the preseason results. I shit you not. Preseason results. The Jets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 wins by the Eagles in the last 33 years. They play each other every single season, the Eagles and the Jets, and the Jets win all the time. They win all the time in the preseason. They always used to play each other in the final preseason game every single year. And then this year they didn't play each other. In 2021, they were, I think it was a 30-31 tie. And then 2020, they skipped it because of COVID. But from 2019 to 1988, I went back to 88. I could have gone back further. They played every single year. Okay? They played every single year. And the Jets win most of the time. But when they play each other in the regular season, the Jets don't ever win. Preseason doesn't matter when it comes to team results. Preseason matters individual reps. Did you win your rep as an individual player? Did you earn your keep and earn your spot on the team? I love the preseason because I'm always cheering for those guys on the fringe of the roster. I do not care about the final score. Unless it's a kicker trying to kick, like scoring doesn't matter to me. Let's be very clear on that. Win your reps, though. Which games are you most looking forward to watching in week 0? So, Steve, I'm going to do a video on it. I'm waiting till the games start. But we can pull it up real quick in front of everybody, and I can talk to you guys about it. Let's go. So week 0 is this week right here, guys, at the top. And what you'll notice is Navy's got to go to Notre Dame. Navy has a new head coach. Doesn't look good for the home team. I don't really want to see that game, okay? UTEP at Jacksonville State. Welcome, Jacksonville State. They're at the FBS level now. They're in Conference USA. Cool. I think UTEP's going to beat the brakes off of them. I am very interested in UMass, New Mexico State. Both teams had incredible transfer portal classes. New Mexico State won their bowl game last season. I predicted it and told you guys about it. Jerry Kill doing a great job. I love NC State here. I'm sorry, New Mexico State. And I think UMass comes in with a new defense. Shout out to Don Brown doing his thing. The game of the week is right here, Ohio and San Diego State. I'm pulling for Ohio. They got to travel across the country, but I still want them to win. That game I'm really excited for. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. Shout out to Timmy Chang coming to the mainland. How is Hawaii going to ever handle the travel from, all the mental health and the concerns from the travel and the missed classes, whatever, dude. So Hawaii's going to show up and get smacked in the face. That's fine. I'm just curious to see how they do. I also want to see Vanderbilt's defense. I want to pay attention to a lot of different players because their head coach is he's the former defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. So I want to see what happens there. USC, San Jose State's going to be really good, guys. San Jose State has the top returning quarterback in the Mountain West. They're going to be good. I still think they get the doors blown off on them. So it is what it is. And then FIU is one of the worst teams in the country, and they're going to La Tech. And I think La Tech's revitalized. Hank Bachmeier, the former quarterback at Boise State, transferred in. The Markham twins just transferred in from Arizona State. They did lose a couple of star wide receivers, obviously, to Ole Miss and stuff like that. But I feel like La Tech did really well in the transfer portal. DeColdis Crawford coming back home to Louisiana. If you don't remember, DeColdis Crawford, Mickey Joseph got him to go all the way to Nebraska. This was a Louisiana kid, one of the great names in college football. Once Mickey got fired and arrested, this kid had to go somewhere, and he came back home. So I'm excited for La Tech. I want to see what they do. But as far as winners go, obviously Notre Dame, UTEP, New Mexico State, Ohio, Vanderbilt, USC, and La Tech. I think I'm going to bat 1,000 on all these picks. If you're any different from me, good luck. But that's where I'm at. I haven't even seen the spread. I don't usually pick against spreads. I do all my picks straight up. I know that's not the way gamblers do it. I'm not a gambler. So that's what I'm excited about for week 0. That's Saturday. And then next week, we got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It doesn't stop, bruh. So that's pretty exciting. The first week of football after week 0. Games 5 days in a row. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm going to tell you all the top transfers every single day. That morning, I'm going to tell you what transfers to watch and who to pay attention to. I'm going to go down and make my picks all the way across the board, and we'll see what I'm doing. We'll see what I'm picking, and you guys can do the same. I guarantee you, my picks, wait till you see my pick percentage. I do this every year. I know who I am. Like, you guys, somebody told me, you don't know Georgia football. And I just want you guys to know something. Like, I'm going to share this with you guys. Here is, check this out. Where is it at? Stop playing with me, bro. I have so many different charts. But one that I really want to talk about is this one. Why isn't it? There we go. Georgia high school football. And here's my overall playoff predictions for 2021. I was at 83% picking playoff winners in Georgia. Okay? I was at 83%. And the year before, I was at 77%. So I got even better. Could you imagine if you were betting on games and you're hitting at 83%? You guys don't understand. I watch every team, every game, and I make my calls and I make my picks. It's not a joke. It's not a game. The year before, I did whole regions for 7A. And I was able to do different seeding in my picks. And then you know what's crazy is I would have done much better on my picks, but I intentionally picked every single underdog in the championship. And I intentionally missed on the championship games because I could afford to. How about them apples? You guys don't know what I got on my computer, bro. I got charts for days. I got so many charts. This is the complete transfer portal. This is every single player that signed to a transfer portal team. Group of 5 wide receivers. I got them all written here. Everybody I need to pay attention to. Group of 5 running backs. Top 50 transfer portal players. There's the chart. There's my honorable mention. Here's my new coaching hires. My top 25 ranks. My top videos, that's a whole other thing. Top 10, group of 5 quarterbacks. I haven't even made the video. Or did I make the video? I probably did. Wide receiver U, tight end U. I do charts for days, guys. Every quarterback, every single starting and backup quarterback in America. Quarterback depth charts everywhere. And my draft top 10 list. I spend hours on this stuff. This is why you can't beat me. While you guys are out working your job, I'm doing my job, spending hours making these charts. I'm that guy. Just so we're clear. Thank you for being here. All right. I don't think Sam Howell will be top 10, by the way. No. I think Sam Howell will be bottom 10 quarterbacks in the country. Or in the NFL. Which games are you most looking forward to? Got it. Thoughts on Colston Loveland, big tight end receiver from Michigan that's getting hyped up. So, Boys, it's not that he's getting hyped up. He's actually really good. Colston Loveland is a good tight end. He's the reason Eric All transferred out. He's a good tight end. He's not a wide receiver. He's a tight end. And he's good. Rico, you excited for any weekday games? I'm looking at mine in week 4, Wisconsin-Purdue Friday night. Yeah, so every single day of the week, Holy Joe, I like every single – like I'm excited about every single game. Like when you look at the next – let me show you something. Thursday, week 1. Thursday. These games right here, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, Wake Forest. Is Griffiths going to be a really good quarterback replacing, Sam? Like, what are they doing here? Sam Hartman just left. How good is Wake Forest going to be? I want to watch the game and find out. Kid State looks terrible, but I want to see John Rice Plumlee run the rock. Rhode Island's actually a really good FCS team. I want to see what they do with Granger and Georgia State. Western Michigan. Oh, my God, they just got King at running back, the leading rusher from Virginia Tech. They lost all their other star players, but I want to see what they do. UConn, are they going to put up a fight against NC State? I want to see Armstrong fall flat on his face, and let's see Morris get in at quarterback. I think Florida gets the brakes beat off of them by Utah. Every single game matters to me like this, guys. Nebraska, I think Matt Rule's great. I want to see what he does with his team. They're going to show up at Minnesota. It'll be a fight. Give me South Dakota at Missouri. Let's see Missouri's defense that time. Tulsa. Everything about Tulsa excites me. Ken Wilson's their new head coach, Kevin Wilson, and they have one of the Presley brothers back home. And they have one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the country in Braxton Braylon, right? UAB, playing against North Carolina A&T. North Carolina A&T has the best zero-star running back in the country. I did a video on him. I can't wait to see what he does. A true freshman. I watched his tape, and I said, this is the best guy ever. He went to North Carolina A&T because his dad went there. Okay? They did lose their All-American rusher in Byshal Tutton. Right. UAB, new head coach. I'm excited for Trent Dilfer. Let's see what he can do. And UAB has one of the best running backs in the country. One of the very best running backs in the country. Wait till you guys see him. Obviously, I'm excited for Arizona State. What is Kenny Dillingham going to do? Guys, I can do this with every single game. I'm excited about every team and every game. Doesn't matter what it is. I can sit here and justify why I want to watch it. Every single one of these. It's hard, pause. It's difficult for me to justify Army at ULM. I can do it. I don't want to, but I have to do it in my brain, in my mind, because I watch all these games. I go back and watch the replay on ESPN Plus. I go back and watch the replay on YouTube. I spend every single day of the week going back and watching the different conferences. It's how I get down. Thanks for being here. I'm excited about the weekday games. Thoughts on the Steelers this year? I don't have any real thoughts on any NFL team. I just let them play. I don't get excited about NFL football at all. I just let it happen. I want to make sure we're clear on that. I don't get excited about NFL football games. I just let them happen. They're too unpredictable. Any team can lose on any given Sunday. Forgive the cliche, but I don't really care. Like, people go, can you give me a prediction on the Lions record? No. Loveland is official. Yes, he is. This is your friendly reminder to hammer the like button. Hammer it. Thank you, guys. Thoughts on the Steelers? Never repeat your question twice, Gabe Grove. It'll get you muted, just so you know. Rico, tell us about the upcoming podcast you're joining. So, I'm not joining a podcast, but I'm doing a show on Saturday morning. I'm going to let you guys know more about it. There is a group of guys. They're called Jack Wagon Sports, and they asked me to come and be a guest picker for games and a guest speaker. They're going to come interview me for their show, their podcast, on Saturday. So I'll be a part of that. I think they live stream. The more news I get, I'll put it on my channel and let you guys know. One thing I will say about that is I also have some other interviews coming up. Some people have asked me some things to interview and tell my life story, talk about how I got started in sports, how I started sports journalism, what are my plans for the future. All those types of interviews are coming. I am open to them. I've said yes to many of them. I've only turned down one major news outlet, I guess, sports outlet, and that was Players' Choice. Shout out to Players' Choice. Who is it? Fluent and Chill is their podcast for basketball. They asked me to be their football guy. I have no desire to do that. They are just a bunch of yellers and screamers and debaters. I don't like to debate. I am the master debater. So I'm not cool with that. I don't care. I also didn't like the way they approached me, whereas a lot of these smaller shows are approaching me very personal, very individualized, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to do my best to help them and give back. I've done 2 recent podcasts in the last couple of weeks. I did Big B Sports, a good friend of mine, Brian. I shouldn't say a good friend of mine, but he does follow me and I follow him. So Brian, we had a good show, and then I think I did the Rational Hour with Ryan, another guy, and I know that Budge asked me to be on his, CF Budge. So I'm always going to help people out, but what I'm not going to do is sell out, and one of these guys asked me to sell out in the worst way, and I'll never do that. So they can roll out. They can all pound sand. They can EAD. Eat a... Yeah, that's what they can do. They can eat a fat one. Curtis Rourke. Yes, sir. Happy for him. I'm extremely happy for him. Sam Howell is better than Dak. Yeah, Dak Prescott once almost threw for 5,000 yards. Sam Howell couldn't possibly do that. Dak Prescott almost threw for 5,000 yards. Go look it up. It's insane. To even compare the two is insane. ESPN doesn't have a clue, but you are using it for your podcast. ESPN doesn't have a clue, but you're using it for your podcast. I don't know what you're talking about, David Parker. I bring up headlines that they write. I could use anybody's. It's all centralized in one point. ESPN does not have a clue what they're doing. Many of their headlines are incorrect. There's errors everywhere. I use them for pictures and for graphics. I don't need to. I can use anybody else's. David Parker, if you're not a fan of the show, please move on. I don't need haters. Rico Knows, I just subscribed. Second best show on YouTube. Shout out to Morant's Rants. He's saying he's the best show on YouTube. I appreciate it. Eli Drinkowitz is getting canned. Book it now. I've booked a lot. I also made a video called Everybody Who's on the Hot Seat, and I already named like 5 different coaches that are getting canned. Do you think Colorado should have attempted to keep Chance Main and try to at tight end? No. I don't care what size people are. No, you don't just become a tight end, because that's why I don't think Anthony Richardson's a tight end. That's an insult to tight ends. You don't just get to show up and be like, I'm the right metrics. I'm a tight end now. No, you're not. I was fired up for Oregon versus Texas Tech game. Had my Rico Knows sign ready. Then I realized UT versus Bama that weekend. So what? Oregon, Texas Tech is where it's at. You don't want to watch Bama get the brakes beat off of them by Texas. Trust me. Rico Knows, what are your thoughts on the Packers draft class after 2 preseason games? The same I've always said, Jake Stauber. Packers watch Rico Knows. They watch my show. They listen to everything I said before the draft. They drafted about 5 guys that I said should be drafted. I said, I don't care where you draft them, they drafted them. Go back and watch my draft preview my draft review on the Packers. If you go to the playlist on TikTok, at the very top of my videos, on my homepage, there's the videos. Right above them are these rectangles. They're all the playlists. Swipe, swipe, swipe till you find NFL Draft Review. Go to that playlist. You're going to see 32 videos in there. Go find the Packers. It's alphabetical by city. You'll be excited. 60 folks in here, 17 likes. Bit sus. Hey, shout out to you. 53 likes. What's up? In a very surprising move, Jalen Carter had to be held back by teammates after a joint practice brawl. He tried dipping his toes back in. Robert Lopez. Nobody's surprised. I love the sarcasm. Jalen Carter is a character concern to the fullest. I will always tell you this. Anybody who leaves the scene of a crime where one of his teammates is dead and doesn't come back for 2 hours, yeah, that's not a guy I want on my team. I think his decision-making is poor. I think he's a criminal. And I think poor decision-making should have consequences. I'm not a Jalen Carter guy, and I never will be. You left somebody to die. I've been in the Army over 20 years. We don't leave anyone behind. I'm not leaving anyone to die ever. It's ingrained in me. It's my mindset. It's the way I live. It's my mantra. And to hear that you saw a buddy crash and you didn't go over there to try to help him, whether he's alive or dead, you left the scene for your own till you were sure you were no longer inebriated. You could pass a breathalyzer. Get out of here, bro. I don't like the motives. I don't like the way he carries himself. Don't give a shit how he plays football, guys. I don't ever excuse piss poor behavior, decision-making, and character concerns for your athletic ability. I don't confuse the two. I don't care how good you are at sports. If you're not a good person, I will not support you. Shout out to John Jones. Shout out to Antonio Brown. Yeah, I could go on and on and on. I don't get down like that. Thank you for bringing it up, Robert Lopez. It'll be great when I bring it up. California has the best high school players. It's a very good conversation to have. I would imagine they do have a certain amount of good high school players for sure. It's a Rico story for sure. Thank you very much, Kamikaze. It is. Rico was an underwater welder in Venezuela, a bull rider in Australia, an archaeologist in Greece, and a valley in Mexico. Okay. Jesse Castellanos, what you don't understand is I am actually him. Like, I'm actually him. I was a great athlete in my high school years, right? I really was. I was a tri-sport athlete. I ran track, wrestled, and played football. And then I joined the Army. And unfortunately for some of you, you guys hate it, but I was a Soldier of the Year. I got a degree in electronic engineering. I became an all-cyber hacker. I'm an all-Army fighter. I'm a certified senior hacker for the Army. I'm a first sergeant for the last 3 years. I'm just accomplished in my life. I've been an MMA fighter for my entire adult. Like, the stuff I've done, I was a sports writer before all that. The stuff I've done, I prove it every single day. I've shown the receipts at length. And you guys show up like this and write off all these things like, hey, he's not it. But I'm actually him. We're not all created equal. That's just something your parents told you to make you feel good. That's some shit they wrote in a little book somewhere so everybody believes it. It's not true. We're not all equal. I'm special. Like, I really am. My mind is brilliant. I wish you guys were around me every day. You'd see it. Shout out to Kim Jones. Morant, second best show. Shout out to LGZ7 for getting it. Do you think Isaiah Land can become a starter on Dallas or be a sack leader like he was in college if developed properly? So, Reed, I'm excited that, unfortunately, an injury to Overshawn for the Dallas Cowboys has given Isaiah Land an opportunity to make the 53 roster. I'm not saying he's sack leader, he's going to become this or become that. No. Let's just make the active roster. Let's go there first. So if he makes the active 53 and he's active for every game day, congratulations, save all your money. You made it. You defied all odds, and you made it. I'm excited for Isaiah Land. Now, can he develop into something special? That's yet to be seen. I like to eat my apple one bite at a time, not shoot for the moon, and you might choke on that damn thing, right? You got to be careful, so slow down. What sticks out is that Pitt cut him, and I'd say we all know how good they've been with wide receivers in the last 20 years. Yeah, Kamikaze, cutting Hakeem Butler. It's really, so you're about 2 weeks away from the season, and you go and they sign C-Struck. He's a jack of all trades. He's a little Swiss Army knife. You sign two guys that are probably going to get cut and make the practice squad. And I don't think they see a lot of value in Hakeem Butler on the special team side of the house. They just don't. He's a good receiver, but that's where it stops. And once you don't have that kind of value, you don't make the roster. Period. Right? Do you thoughts on it being announced today? Avery Morrow is allowed to play for Colorado State this year. Do you think it will lift their ceiling? I don't really know what their ceiling is, Nicholas. I think it's exciting news, but I don't know what their ceiling is. I'm going to write it down. I might make a video on it, to be honest. But when I studied Colorado State, I'm excited about a couple of their players. Torrey Horton, the wide receiver, the transfer from Nevada. I'm excited for Colorado State for a number of reasons, but I don't know what their ceiling is. I know they brought in 33 players in recruiting this year, right? I know they're flipping that roster as best they can. They're trying to change the culture, but it might take another 2 years before they start really rolling. Thoughts on Drake May versus Michael Penix Jr.? They're not comparable to me. I think Drake May is a great athlete, probably a better prospect. Michael Penix Jr. is a high-volume guy who might struggle transitioning to the NFL, but that's how I feel about it. Cormani McClain has the jersey number 1, and I'm sure you've heard Deion's thoughts on that number. Do you think Cormani is him? I think he is a freshman 5-star player, and those guys should not be in your 2 deep. Like, you should get a 5-star player coming out of high school, and they should not be in your 2 deep. That's how deep your team should be. And you get them, and you should be like, all right, cool, man. Start developing over here. Get better. We got other guys on the team that have been lifting weights and are adults. Right? When you get a transfer, let me give an example. Alton McCaskill IV is a transfer from Houston, 3 stars out of high school. 3 stars. But he rushed for over 900 yards his freshman year and 16 touchdowns. So a 5-star player has never done anything of the sort. Is he comparable to a guy who's actually done what we're looking for? Right? Xavier Weaver is the leading receiver leaving South Florida. He's actually caught passes in college games. They tell me he's a 3-star, and everybody goes, well, there's a 5-star coming in. Adam Hopkins is a 4-star. And so it's like, dude, I don't give a shit what they are. Have they caught 800 yards receiving in actual college games against other college defensive backs? None of them have. Give me the guy with real production. Give me the guy who's actually done the job before. I don't think Cormani McClain's ever done the job, so I'm not excited for him like that. I think he needs to develop, keep lifting weights, get stronger and better, and one day when you make it on the field, you'll be able to play. Now, me saying that, don't get it twisted. There's always 1 or 2 5-stars that can show up and do their thing. Malachi Starks did it for Georgia. Caleb Downs is going to do it this year. Peter Woods is going to do it for Clemson. It happens, yes. But I just don't see that from Cormani McClain. I saw him get toasted by Mikey Matthews from the 3-star at Utah. I've seen him get roasted before. So it's a learning progress. Now, if he gets on the field and he's in the rotation, more power to him. If he got the number 1, that's a recruiting ploy. It's something you got to do to get him to come out for you. So, okay, congrats. But that's where I'm at on that. Were you impressed with Sha'Carri Richardson's performance? Do you think she'll win the 100 meters in the Olympics? So, D-Till, I don't like to make predictions on the Olympics because athletes will be injured. Athletes will be in and out of shape. When we're approaching, we'll have to see after the Olympic trials. I'll let you know. But right now, was I impressed with her performance? Hell yeah, I was. I thought that she ran well. I thought that she finished strong. She ran down the Jamaicans. I'm happy she won gold. More power to her. I was not pleased with her post-race interview when she said she's only worried about and racing for people who look like her. Like, that's the most racist thing you can say. And I don't understand why no one's holding her accountable for it. Right? If a white guy, like if, who's the kid? Bowling. If Matthew Bowling, after breaking the world record in the 400 in that 4x4 mix race, went up there and was like, yeah, I'm only racing for people who look like me, he'd be vilified. But she said she's only racing for black people. I don't even understand that mindset. You represent America. You're racing for America. It's just distasteful. I'm never going to be a fan of her as a person. I do think that she ran well and she did great in the Olympics itself, or I'm sorry, in the World Championships. But she's very unlikable to me. I love Gabby Thomas. I love Tamira David. Like, I like so many other people. She's just not likable to me. She's just not appealing to me at all. I don't think she's pretty. I don't think she's nice to look at. I can't stand the way she talks. I'm just keeping it real. Nothing about her is appealing to me. There's some other people out there that I rock with. Like, Athing Mo is so much better. Athing Mo is classy, regal, fucking just comes across like a professional. And Sha'Carri Richardson just comes across like a jaded individual with perceived slights. You get to the mic and you say, well, I'm only running for people who look like me? Nah, I can't fuck with you. Like you're just not from where, you don't rock where I'm from. Like, you're messing with the wrong one, man. I'm a Mexican dude who's been in the Army for the last 20 years. Could you imagine if I said I'm only going to war and defending people who look like me? Like, that doesn't even roll off the tongue right. I got white, black, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian soldiers, and I look at all of them and I go, nah, I'm only rocking with ones that's, the last name's Rodriguez, Hernandez, Jimenez, and Rico. That's it. That's all I'm rocking with. I can't do that. That sounds bigoted and ignorant, yet she's allowed to do it. And everybody applauds her. You go in here and say, Rico, what do you think about her? So, I don't. I was impressed. But she ain't it. Now, oh, please, gaslighting bullshit nonsense, Rachel Ann. This is not gaslighting. This is being real. People get on TV and are allowed to say the most ridiculous things, and no one else can say them. It's a double standard. It's a complete double standard. And I'll never rock with it. That's not gaslighting. That's real. I'm sorry, the chat jumped. Let me go back and catch up to it. Sugar Shane is a dog. Yes, he is, Corey. Shout out to you. Will Assam ever be a gold medalist player, or will that cheating allegation follow him his whole career? So you could be a cheating allegation all you want. You're still going to win. If you win, you win, right? Christian Coleman was suspended for missing tests. He's got a cheating allegation as well. He still won. Carl Lewis, pissed hot. Like, Carl Lewis failed 3 or 4 different drug tests. Carl Lewis used steroids, and he admitted to it. He said, hey, but they still let me win. So they let you win, bro. It's not going to drag it. It's track and field. It's not baseball. It's not these sports where they vilify it and they're mad about it. It's not cycling. It's track and field. Everybody gets caught doing it, and they just kind of go, okay, well, you're suspended for a few. Come on back and win again. That's just the way it goes. So, what up, Rico? Sugar says he's focused on healing that rib. Then he'll fight Cheeto, Henry, or Aljo. If the money's right, he'll fight whoever in December. There you go. Well, he needs to rest more than just December. He needs to give it some time. Who's going to play quarterback at Georgia? Carson Beck. And I watched him play in high school. I was never impressed. But they say he can get the ball to all the receivers, so we'll see what happens. Rico, you watched the new Florida documentary. No, I did not. Beck, do you think that Boise State has a chance to upset Washington week 1? They're on the same field, so they have a chance. How likely is it? Not likely, but they do have a chance. Liked. Thank you, Jacob Jenkins. How many games does Fresno State win? Think Mikey has a big year. Yeah, so I like Mikey Keene a lot. You say Fresno State. Let's pull it up. Let's go. So even if we're being realistic here, I think that Fresno State loses at Purdue. I really do. Now, that's just me looking at Purdue. Hudson Card, a great defensive coach. Fresno State losing Jordan Mims at running back, losing Romeglio, Jalen Moreno-Cropper, Joshua Kelly, Jordan Mims, obviously their quarterback, Jake the Great Hayner, losing Evan Williams at safety. Like, the amount of attrition Fresno State had after winning 10 games last season is insane. Okay, I really don't see them beating Purdue. But, so, I see them losing. They'll beat Eastern Washington. They'll lose to Arizona State. They're going to smash Kent State. Kent State's really bad. I think they'll beat Nevada. They're going to beat Wyoming on the road. I got them beating Utah State. And by this time, I think that they're really rolling. But I can see them losing to Boise State and San Jose State. I really can. It's unfortunate. So, 1, 2, 3, 4... probably 4 to 5 losses. So 8-4, 7-5. That's where I got Fresno State next season. 8-4, 7-5. It's not going to be what you saw last season where they just go out there and win a bunch of games. They lost so much talent in the transfer portal and to the NFL draft or the NFL, to graduation. So it's a shame because I always like Fresno State. They're fun to watch, man. You've always cheered for the little guys ever since the Pat Hill days. Always cheer for the little guys, and unfortunately, it might not work out this season. Rico, what do you think about USC 30.5 or team total over 48.5 points? What you like better? I like the over at 48.5. I like the over, but I don't give any betting advice. I don't talk like that, so I like the over. No folk. What about no folk? Yup, indigenous records of people of color. I don't even know what that means. Nice. I don't know what we're talking about right now. Last year, when I lived in Virginia, I went up to D.C. and spent July. Oh, you're talking about the National Archives. Okay. Last year, when I lived in Virginia, I went up to D.C. and spent July 4th at overlooking the Mirror Pond, the reflection pool, at Washington and Lincoln Memorials. It was awesome. They're really far apart, by the way. Forever and ever, amen. And I'm gonna love you forever and ever. That country shit? Yeah, that's Randy Travis. That's right. That's the first country song we knew. What do you think of skilled players Quinn Ewers has around him? Elite players. Commodity, I believe he has some elite receivers. Yeah, I believe he has some elite players. I think Quinn Ewers is elite. Sam Williams will be a top 10 year 2 edge rusher this year. Is he a Cowboy? Is he the one I saw getting beat up at Cowboys practice? I saw him get body slammed at a Cowboys practice. And it looks like they are getting some decent in-state recruits. Missouri, they are. I can't remember when Missouri was able to keep good talent in state. Hopefully it's a good sign to come. So Jacob Jenkins, they kept Luther Burden in state. They keep players in state. It's just you got to develop them and make them pros. Anybody here on Twitter? Check out Rico Knows TikTok. That's correct. My Twitter is at Rico Knows TikTok. All one word, just so you know. How big is it that Micah Pittman has been cleared for football? So Robert Lopez, not that only that he's been cleared for football, but Micah Pittman, this is a transfer, guys, went from Oregon, went to Florida State. From Florida State, he just transferred to Utah. Micah Pittman was known as a blocking wide receiver. They're telling me he can really play. They're telling me he's ready. He's in shape, and he's going to be an impact player for Utah, which is pretty cool. So Micah Pittman looking good for Utah. We'll see what happens there. Hello, Kim. Welcome back from your vacation. What up, Jason? Thoughts on Boulder this season? Go watch my Colorado playlist, and you'll learn. Why did Chance Main leave Colorado? He's got a lot of teammates at Texas State, and it's nice to play with Texas State. Michigan State, poop. Okay. Is Brady Hoke winning the Mountain West title? No. Sterling J, because there's no shot in hell he'll get playing time based on what's there. He had a ton of playing time. He was going to get playing time. It's just scheme and fit. He wants to put himself in the best position to let his talent show, to get an NFL job someday. Sure, Kevin Fitz. I'm just letting you know that it doesn't matter where Chance Main plays. He's in the rotation. Little brother needs to focus on keeping their best players in the program. Jason Parkinson is talking about Michigan State. Prod Self says, absolutely nothing untold about the Gators documentary. They literally told us the story. We already know nothing on the Pouncey twins or any of the trouble. Oh, it's garbage. It's propaganda, bruh. Steve Talbot says, pretty sure everyone wants a breakdown of Kenny Logan Jr. got a chance to play at the next level. Kenny Logan. I've never seen Kenny Logan Jr. I haven't seen his tape, I don't think. Rico, A&M added some experienced players in their secondary. Can you elaborate on those guys? Yeah, Trent. So A&M hit the transfer portal. They grabbed Tony Grimes, first and foremost, from North Carolina, former 5-star guy, and he was a good player. I think he was second team All-ACC. This is a good player, but I want to tell you, I don't think they were pleased with Tony Grimes, because after they got Tony Grimes, they went and got Sam McCall, and Sam McCall went from a 4-star to a 3-star after he transferred. Sam McCall's a freshman last year at Florida State, didn't make the 2 deep, found himself way down the depth chart. Sam McCall was really a package deal. If you guys didn't know this, Sam McCall and Travis Hunter were supposed to both go to Florida State. I don't think Florida State wanted Sam McCall. I think they wanted Travis Hunter. But when Travis went and flipped and went to Jackson State to go play with Coach Prime, Sam McCall still turned in his letter of intent to Florida State, and they honored it. But they didn't want him individually, and after one season he left, and he's at Texas A&M. Now, I think he's a depth player, And he better be prepared to be there for at least 3 years before he ever sees the field, or at least before he ever starts or anything like that, right? And then they got one player in the spring, Josh DeBerry. And of all the corners they got and all the secondary guys they got, Josh DeBerry is the guy. Okay, Josh DeBerry is an all-conference ACC corner, played at Boston College, and he played for Helfrey. Boston College head coach Helfrey, he makes corners. He's an NFL defensive backs coach. He knows what he's doing. He's a terrible college coach. They just lost to UConn last year, 13-3. He's a terrible college coach, but he makes DBs. And for him to lose DeBerry to the transfer portal, go to A&M. When I see A&M picking up defensive backs, corners in the spring session, that tells me they weren't happy with what they saw in spring ball. And just much like the teams who picked up quarterbacks in the spring. So that's who A&M got in the secondary. How many ranked teams do you think Katron Allen can become an instant starter for? Ranked teams? Probably none. Probably none. Most ranked teams have really good running backs. And what you guys are confusing in production, you guys are confusing production in style versus like talent. In other words, when you're at Penn State, if you're the second running back, you're going to have a ton of rushing yards. That's cool. And he had some. He had, 900? Like, that's cool. 700, 800, whatever it was. That's great. That doesn't mean you can start over somebody. That doesn't mean you can go to another school and be the starter. Let's make that very clear. Okay? Logan Diggs was the second leading rusher at Notre Dame. Doesn't mean he can go start for a bunch of teams. He's going to be a running back by committee at LSU, but he wasn't the bona fide starter anywhere. Like, people need to slow down with that. You're a backup for a reason. That's cool. There's a 900-yard rusher that was a backup at UAB last year. Jerome Brown Jr. Like, are we serious? Jerome. He rushed for 900 yards as a backup. What's the difference? He's better than Katron Allen, and UAB's not even ranked. I sent a request in for a film review. You might not be able to see a regular season. You're not going to be able to see senior regular season highlights for that dude by the time you get to him. Yeah, Robert Lopez, it happens, man. I don't ever lose any sleep over it. It happens. I miss guys. There's only one person. I'll make a few tonight before I go to bed after I finish all my track stuff. What are your opinions on Ohio State this year without Stroud? I think they have a really good team. They have great wide receivers. They just got to find somebody to get them the ball. They're fine. They're not great, but they're fine. Are they susceptible to lose to Penn State this year? Maybe. This will be the year. Are they beating Michigan? I don't think so. That's my I went out on my limb and said Michigan's going to run the table. I just think that way. I like what I see from Michigan. What are your opinions on Ohio State? Okay, got that. Where is he at with questions? I don't see any of the questions he's answering here in the chat. What commodity? I just answered that one. J.J. McCarthy should get the A.J. McCarron love. There you go. Rico, week 1. Do you think Colorado loses by 40 or 50? I think Colorado wins the game, Matt. I think Colorado beats TCU. And if they don't beat TCU, they're going to cover the spread. Yesterday, the Steelers signed Aaron. Yep, we just talked about this. What did you think will he bring to the team? He's just a Swiss Army knife. He brings a lot. Does he make the roster? He's just a rental for the third preseason. He's definitely just a rental. He has a chance to make the practice squad at best. That's it. Show us highlights or it's cap. What highlights, Matt? Matt, you just came in here with a bunch of hate. First you say Colorado's losing by 40 or 50, and now you're saying it's cap. What is cap? What highlights do you need? Let me know what highlights you need. Let me know what receipts you think I need to show to you. You're questioning my credibility? The one thing I've never done is gone on here and started lying. I'm praised for being honest, raw, uncensored. Are you kidding me right now? What did you think about the women's 400-meter finish? Pretty crazy. I didn't see it yet, TJ. Don't tell me what it was. I didn't see it. I had them in January with proof. In my notes, I'll send it to you. Okay. Rico was the only one with these outrageous but true take from the draft takes. Sandy Baller, they weren't outrageous. They were laced with hard work, watching film, and not believing mock drafts or letting ESPN influence me. I'll tell you what, before the draft, I don't even turn on ESPN. I don't turn on NFL Network. I do all my own assessment in a vacuum. I have no clue what they're saying. I come out the lab and I go, all right, here's my top 10. Here's my top 3. Here's my number 1 running back. Here's my number 1. I have no clue who they're talking about. I don't let it influence me like that. And it pays off because I found all the guys that nobody's talking about. You guys remember the day when I found Sterling Thomas V? I made the video and said, hey, guys, there's a corner at UAB nobody's talking about. And I think he's the fastest player in the draft. And then I showed you a film, and everybody goes, oh, Rico, that's just 1 rep. And I'm like, no. He's got 9 passes deflected. He was a state champion 100 meter back in high school. I think Thomas Sterling V is going to get drafted. And then he didn't get drafted. And everybody started talking shit. Oh, Rico's so wrong. He missed. He said this guy's getting drafted. Nobody drafted him. Yeah, he's running with the starters 2 weeks later. 2 months later, he's running with the starters. Think he makes the team. Probably should have drafted him. Think he makes the team ahead of certain 6th and 7th round picks who got cut. You guys don't know. Well, Rico knows. I'm from Fresno. Been in on Jake for 3 years. Okay. Ah, man. You guys already know the deal, right? I'll let it slide. I had them too. I just don't have a platform. Oh, well, I didn't have a platform either, Frenzy. I just started making videos at that time. I had no platform at that time. Rico just sliding through to remind you, Bama's winning the Natty. Okay, Northsack. Thanks for letting me know. Frenzy, if you don't hit the live button, you don't know anything. I'm just waiting for Colorado week 2 when Nebraska cleans house in Boulder. Fresno Bulldogs, whoop, whoop. There you go. Hasn't UNC had a quarterback as their leading rusher for the last 2 or 3 years? Robert Lopez, I don't know. I just know it was last year for sure. I didn't go back and check. I could, but I'll take your word for it. How do you think the Panthers season is going to go? Kind of scary after the preseason with the offensive line. It's not the offensive line. It's their quarterback. He sucks. Okay? Their quarterback sucks. Well off dropped. I don't know what that means. Well off dropped. Don't know what that means. Thoughts on Becton? What did they drop? Thoughts on Becton? Becton. Who's Becton? I'm picking Jacksonville State. Okay, there you go. They got a nice triple option, by the way. Rashada, the starter for ASU. Not that I know of. I don't think he wants to waste a year of eligibility. And I don't think he likes Dillingham. Rico, what's your opinions on Texas Tech this season? I'm very high on Texas Tech. Ramses, I have them in my top 25. I think they win at least 9 games. Do you think the Arizona Cardinals will be the worst team this season? NFL, worst team? I have no clue. I would imagine so. They have a guy at quarterback that shouldn't be playing. Salute, Rico. Thank you very much. Are we talking week 0 college football, please? I already did it. Rewind it if you want to watch it. Rico is a good man. None of us are perfect. Thank you. Minnesota is going to be good still. Not looking forward to playing them. Nobody should. I meant game day is going to be at UT versus Bama instead of where it's going to be. Oh, my bad, Steve. Hilarious. My bad. You still show up, bro. Make the drive. Illinois football going to continue to have success this year. I don't believe so, Chadwick. I've been over this many times. They lost way too many great players to the NFL and losing your defensive coordinator and Ryan Walters to Purdue. It just looks like Illinois is not going to be there. Now, they got Altmaier in the transfer portal. He's a good quarterback from Ole Miss. I like the kid, but I just look at Illinois and I just say there's no way they keep the same production, losing starting running back, losing 3 draft picks in the secondary. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. It looks like it's going to be a bad deal. Did Sidney Brown's tackling get better? Apparently he's tackling a lot more, but I know what I've seen on tape. You still think Izzy makes the Jets roster despite being hurt and Cook signing? Boogs, it's going to be tough, bro. A lot of it has to do with your draft position and whether or not they're invested in you. Being a 5th-round draft pick, they can afford to release him. They don't care. And if he's injured, nobody wants to sign him. The running back room's loaded. You know, somebody was writing to me saying, Rico, look at that. You said the top running back in the draft was Izzy, and now he's not even going to make the team. How wrong were you? And I said, well, Do you think there's any running back in the draft that would be starting over Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall? Like any running back. You know, when people tell me Jake Haener is not starting, so I'm wrong about the quarterback evaluation, I just say, well, which rookie quarterback would be starting over Carr? Who would be starting over Derek Carr? Like, you got to look at situations, and this is why I never predict draft positions, and I never predict productivity. Like, I never say this guy's going to be the rookie of the year. This guy's going to lead the league in rushing. This guy's going to lead him in receiving. I never talk like that, ever. Because you have no control over injuries. You have no control over what situation they're going to fall into and who the team's going to sign. These teams just keep moving. The GMs just keep making decisions that no one agrees with. It's their business. That's what they do. That's why I don't do mock drafts. I don't do a mock draft ever. Rico, send us that mock draft. No. I'm not going to try to guess what 32 different personalities are going to do that night. And right now, I have no idea what the Jets are going to do with Izzy. He's a great player. Darnell Wright, injury? I don't know. Did he? Thoughts on Malik Henry? You don't need to tell me where he's from. I know every player. Come on now. Malik Henry, a less than desirable person. I'm not a fan of Malik Henry at all. What's up, everyone? Rico Knows. Shout out to you, Eric Gonzalez. Thanks for being here. Jack Hardy says, Rico, thoughts on USA men's hammer at the World Championships? I only read the results, Jack Hardy, and I think I was reading the women's hammer. No, I read men's hammer, but I just clicked on the link. I didn't go watch it. I was looking at it this morning. I owe you an answer. I wasn't impressed with the results. I don't think we were winning. Was it a hungry guy? Hungarian? Who wins, Ohio and San Diego State? I'm saying Ohio wins that game. I'm hoping. Thoughts on Baker Mayfield being named the starter? Let's go back and watch all the videos. Watch all the videos. When I told you guys there was not a quarterback battle in Tampa. I don't know what we're talking about. There was never a quarterback battle in Tampa. There was never going to be a quarterback battle. Baker Mayfield has thrown for over 100 touchdowns in his career. He has started 67 games. Kyle Trask has done nothing. 0 in both columns, Kyle Trask. 0 in both columns for Kyle Trask. You got a guy with 100 touchdowns versus somebody who's never done it. And you guys, oh, it's a battle. No, it's not. Baker Mayfield is a great quarterback. He is. You guys are just in denial. Rico, I trained all offseason, then I still didn't get the starting job. Where should I go from here? Feel like that work went to waste. Brian B., are you better than you were? Remember, when you're training and you're getting better, all you're doing is getting better individually. Like, you're improving yourself. But that doesn't make you better. Like, it doesn't make you better than anybody else. You got to be better than the competition. You know, in the Army, there are these things called promotion boards. And promotion boards, you just go to the promotion board, and if you go to the board and you don't do well, you don't get recommended for promotion. They say come back in about a month or two, and then you come back the next month, and you try again. And if you got better, then you get promotable. And then eventually you'll get promoted to sergeant or staff sergeant. As a first sergeant, I sit on these boards, and I tell these young men and these young women, hey, you need to get better. And then I go and do mock boards with them. I make them better. I help them get better. I train them because I was a soldier here. I know what I'm doing. The huge difference between a promotion board and a competition board is you're not trying to meet a standard. We don't send you back home and say, hey, man, get better. You'll win next time. No, you got to be better than everybody else that was there that day. And if you aren't, you didn't win. So you saying you put in work this offseason and you still get the starting job, that's cool and all. You got better. That's not how it works. You're at a competition board. You got to be better than the guy across from you. You probably slept too long. All offseason, Brian, you probably got 8 hours of sleep. You needed 6. You need to be training those extra 2 hours. You need to train harder. Come on now. Thoughts on Clemson and Georgia Tech transfer Taysom P. I call him TP. This is a quarterback that was at Clemson, couldn't start. Him and Chase Bryce were backing up Trevor Lawrence. He ended up transferring Taysom P here. I think his brother went to UConn. So now he's at UMass. Is he the starting quarterback, Patrick? I don't know. You're going to have to tell me. But I am aware of who you're talking about. I followed him for many years. So I wish him well. I hope he's doing well. But it is what it is. Is Travis Hunter a legitimate contender for the Heisman? Congrats on your military achievements. Very cool. No, I do not think Travis Hunter is a legitimate contender for the Heisman. First and foremost, the Heisman goes to the best player on one of the best teams. And unless you think Colorado's winning at least 11 games next season, they will not be in the conversation for the Heisman. The Heisman will be from a team that has at least 11 wins, playing for the conference championship. I don't see Colorado doing any of those things, so why are we talking about the Heisman? That's not it. Alton McCaskill is ready to go now. 2, Prime is saving him. I hope so, Marlo. I hope so, because I'm a huge Alton fan. Rico knows. What up, Lewis? Texas starting running back Jonathan Brooks is going to turn some heads this year. What do you think? It's a prime example of a 5-star kid with a lot of potential but hasn't shown me shit. I think he's a good player. I just need to see it. I just need him to go out there and perform. And I hope he does well because he has a great quarterback. Go out there and make him look good. Can you tell me how you feel about Kentucky football? We're going to make some noise. Yeah, I think Kentucky football's offense is amazing. Devin Leary, Baron Brown, who's the other kid? Key. They just have a ton of skill players, great players. Getting Ray Davis to try to move the chains is fine. He looks like a school teacher. He's old. Go look at his pictures. He just looks old. Looks like a parent. But I like Kentucky's offense, and I think we're going to score a ton of points. I think they're going to run into Louisville at the end of the season, and that's a problem. I have Louisville winning that game in an upset. But I like Kentucky to be competitive in a lot of games in the SEC just because they're going to score points. Can you tell us a few players that you are high on that are getting buried at their current schools and will end up in the portal? Holy smokes. Well, first and foremost, Sultan of SWAT, thank you for the question. It's a very loaded question. I think players that end up in the portal aren't always depth chart casualties. People misunderstand what the transfer portal is. The transfer portal is for players in the fall. The vast majority of transfer portal players were FCS All-Americans and players at smaller schools that wanted an opportunity to play at a bigger school or a better school. So Mason Cobb leaving Oklahoma State after being second team All Big 12 and leading the team in tackles, he jumped in the portal. It wasn't because he was buried on the depth chart. It wasn't because he didn't get a shot. It's because he wanted to go play at USC. So when guys get buried on the depth chart, they don't always go to the transfer portal. Some of them want to be developed and stay at that school. Some want to move and be closer to home. So if I'm supposed to project or predict who's going to transfer and move closer to home, that's a loaded question because that will be within the same parameters of who enters the transfer portal because they're buried. Who am I high on? Everybody's going to talk about that Orgy kid up at the quarterback at Texas, the quarterback at Michigan. You're going to talk about certain skill players, and it's just tough, man. I don't want to guess at stuff like this, and I don't want to wish it upon certain – because these young men watch my videos. They're going to see this, and they're going to be like, hey, Rico, I'm not planning on leaving. Why'd you say that? Now my teammates think I'm leaving. I'm not leaving. You know, that kind of deal. So I don't want to go there. Thank you for the great question, but I don't want to go there. There are players not being utilized, and I wish they were. There are. Record prediction for Louisville Cardinals this season. In first year with Brom, are they going to fall in the ACC? Where are they going to fall in the ACC? So BT, thank you for the question. I want you to go to my TikTok homepage, or you can go to YouTube. And YouTube, the playlist is called Who Is. Click in there, and you will find a video dedicated to Jeff Brom. On TikTok, above my videos on the homepage, there's these rectangles. Playlists are up there, and on the playlist, you will see one for top 25 head coaches. Top 25 new head coaches in the FBS. And Jeff Brom is towards the top. I believe he was number 3 on the list. Go click on it. He might have been number 2. No, he was number 3. Click on it, watch the video, and you'll hear all about Louisville. Anybody else in the chat who wants to know? Go watch the video. Or you can always do a search on TikTok. Hashtag Louisville, hashtag Rico Knows. And you will find every single video I've ever made about Louisville in the last year. I won't lose sleep over that film review. I want to see what your opinion is on him. I'll probably forget it. I sent it and be surprised when I say it. Exactly, Robert Lopez. Happens all the time. Can you tell me your opinions on Justin Ross and Isaiah Winstead? Do you think either of them will thrive or have a good year on their teams? Isaiah Winstead, where's he at? Is he with the 49ers? Does that sound right? I don't think he makes the team. Justin Ross, I hope he makes the team. Like, I don't know what else to say to you guys. I hope they make the 53. That's it. I remember Auburn clip. I had an Auburn clip. I don't remember what's going on there. Could you give your analysis on my homie, DeAndre Prince, senior at Ole Miss? Send it in the DM. I'll get to it. Where is he reading questions from, man? I've donated on TikTok, moved over to YouTube. Still can't get this man to answer anything. Is he on Twitch or something? So, BT, number one, I don't care if you donated anywhere. No one's asking for donations. I don't read questions because of donations. All questions are on TikTok. Are on YouTube. They're here every day. We tell you guys where to ask them, and that's that. Thanks, Rico, for the fun-filled show. Got to bounce. Yep. I appreciate you, Steve. Not trying to argue or anything. I just got to show love to Hainer. I was in on McKee, Tanner, in January when I watched film, but I've watched every snap Jake's taken since 2020. Knew he'd be an NFL quarterback. How about Oregon State? Not high on quarterback DJ, but still think they're overlooked with all the Pac-12 dissension. Ivan, Oregon State is great. I think they're a top 25 team. I'm pretty big on them. So I hope they play well. They played great with a redshirt freshman quarterback. I think they'll do great this upcoming season. What is great to you and what is great to me might be two different things. Why don't you like Fields? He was a beast in high school and college. Because Fields lied. Justin Fields said he was a victim of racial slurs, which is a bona fide lie. He said he was threatened and slurred and slighted by the Georgia fan base. And that's why he had to transfer to Ohio State. It wasn't because he didn't beat out Jake Fromm. It's because he was a victim of racial slurs at Georgia University. The University of Georgia. Ridiculous. And I don't believe him. I think it's all bullshit, and I hate liars. If you compromise your integrity for your own benefit, I hate that. Okay? His sister plays softball at Georgia right now. You are one of the wealthiest guys around, and you let your sister go to the same institution that verbally abused you, scarred you for life, and made it so bad that you had to transfer immediately, and that's how you filed for your hardship. And you subject your sister to that same treatment because you know what they say to black athletes at Georgia, according to Justin Fields. That's why I don't like Justin Fields. He's full of shit. He's a liar. Real talk. Thoughts on Ty James? No real thoughts. I got nothing to say about Ty James. Shout out to him. Thoughts on Milton High School? I like Milton, man. They're good every year. They don't really get it done, but, you know, big school. Don't they have a really good girls flag football team as well? But I see Milton probably, once or twice a year on GPB? I like them. I just realized Hainer and O'Connell are great for the third-string emergency quarterback spot. Robert Lopez. What are you talking about? These guys are second string. You better ask somebody. What should I expect from my Panthers this year? Absolutely nothing. Rico, what is your coaching resume? Just curious. Trent, I coached youth football. I coached something called Junior All-American football. 13 and 14-year-olds, I believe. 12, 13, 14-year-olds, somewhere around there. And I didn't lose a game for 3 years. We won everything. It's like being the Pop Warner champions. Some of my players are still in the chat every single day. Seriously. I'm just a great football mind. And then I joined the Army. Rico, what do you think of the Lions running back room? I think it's loaded. Daniel McDermott, I think it's loaded. Mo Ibrahim needs to make that roster. Let's go. Was talking about Mekhi Becton. Oh, Mekhi Becton, my bad. I think it'll be tough for Izzy, but the staff seems like they're high on him, but don't see them carrying 4 backs. Izzy from my hometown, so I'm completely invested. Yeah, I am too. Shout out to Mekhi. predictions for McCord and the OSU quarterback situation. I'm a big Kindholes believer next year, but I'm not really confident in McCord this year should Brown get more of a shot. So Brown's going to get the shot. What does McCord do? Brown's going to get the shot. What do? Quarterbacks leave if they don't get the starting job. So you can't fault them. Go find somewhere where you can play. Do you think Austin Mack could be quarterback one and have success next year? What do you want me to say? Yeah. Later, guys. Later. Thanks, Rico. Appreciate and respect all your players. Thoughts on Jason Marshall Jr.? None. What are your thoughts on LSU? Watch the content. Do you know Santana Wilson or Dylan Hipp? Neither one. Opinions on Houston football. Don't know what level you're talking about. If you're asking about the Houston Cougars, watch the content. Do you think do a search, #Houston, #Rico Knows, and and you'll find it. Do you think Milroe will start? Apparently. Where did you have AOC ranked coming out? I know you're high on him. I think I had him 4th. Do you think Dillingham will have long-term success, or do you think the Pac-12 collapse hurt and helped ASU? I think Dillingham has long-term success. Going to the Big 12, he's a great quarterbacks coach. He's a young guy. I think he has long-term success. If Jimmy goes down, I'm comfortable with him being quarterback number 1. Okay. Thoughts on Lamar Jackson? I don't really think about Lamar Jackson all that much. I hope he returns back to his MVP form because I've never seen him play there since 2018. Thoughts on Reese Poffenbarger? I don't know who he is. What do you think it will take for the Browns to see what they got in DTR? How short is Watson's leash? I don't think it's very short. Watson has 230 million reasons why his leash is not short. Like DTR is not playing. It's not playing. I know you only watch the playoffs for Alabama for the most part. Correct. What do you think about Theodore High School? I don't, but I do watch them. Yeah. Thoughts on Cam Franklin? I have nothing. It's just a football player. I'm back, bro. Time for league. If you know anything about Jalen Thomas, do you think he'll make the Ravens roster? I haven't looked at the Ravens roster. Apologize. Texas versus Houston Cougars score prediction. A lot to a little. What are your thoughts on arena football and the sprint football? Could some of these guys start over NFL quarterbacks? No. Thoughts on Desmond Ridder? I never think about Ridder. Thoughts on Cam Rising? Does he have any pro upset? I don't think so, but I hope he's healthy and plays this season. What are your thoughts on the state of BC football? Boston College? One of the worst teams in the Power 5. One of the worst teams in the Power 5. Who will surprise teams in college football? Also, look out for Hebron Christian Academy. Okay. Who will the surprise teams in college football? I don't know. They're not surprising me. Chris Stowers. I'm calling out everybody. Calling it now. Vandy will make a bowl game, and Florida will go 2-10. Yeah, I think Florida's going to be bad. I don't know about Vandy making a bowl game, but I think Florida's going to be bad. If Texas and A&M played this season, who would win? Texas. What? Texas can beat Bama. Underrated quarterbacks you think will emerge this year in college football. Go watch my Group of 5 top 10 college quarterbacks video. Go to the Who Is playlist. Who Is playlist. You'll see everything. Who's your dark horse to win the college football natty this year? I don't try to predict the national champion. I don't even know who's in the playoffs. The hell? You don't know who's in the playoffs. Hawaii will be surprisingly good? No. No, they won't. Besides your guys like Tank Dell and Hainer, what rookie do you think is not getting talked about enough? Deuce Vaughn. And I know everybody's talking about him, but he's not being talked about enough. Okay? Deuce Vaughn. Marty Mapow. Josh Downs. Tank Dell. I could pick one on every single team. That Raiders quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. Yeah. Hey, guys, I just want to remind you, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate everybody.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for
I
you.
do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all